Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 4 of our Be a Better You annual challenge. This year, we're going to do one thing every day to become a better version of ourselves. And one of the tools I like the most when it comes to improving any area or aspect of my life is to have a framework, or what I call a life framework. So I use and have taught for, oh my gosh, since 2021, I've taught a 9-part life framework. Prior to that, it was a 7-part life framework. Interesting here today. So in following the pandemic and all the craziness that was associated with that, I got some coaching in confidence and communication and how to keep moving during times of challenges and changes. I did Get Up and Go challenge every other month, a 30-day plus challenge every other month during 2020 and 2021. And as part of that, I got some additional coaching because we all need a little boost sometimes to keep us moving forward. In the areas of the core areas I added to my personal life framework were communication and confidence. Why? Because they're foundational skills, just like these other areas and aspects of our life that we want to make sure we're always taking into consideration when we're making decisions and choices to move our life forward and in the direction we want it to go, right? So what is this 9-part life framework? It was a 7-part life framework I learned from Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn back in the 1980s. I know, the late 80s. Crazy, huh? And it was physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. And then in 2021, I got some coaching from an amazing group of individuals and added confidence and communication to my life framework. Why? Because I set goals and objectives for each of these areas, all of these areas, all 9 of them every year. I have long-term, lifetime legacy goals, things that are shoot for the stars type goals that probably I may or may not accomplish. I plan on accomplishing them, but they are such a stretch, such a reach that I don't share them with people because they'd be like, yeah, you crazy. I don't even want to hear that nonsense. That is not even possible. Why do you have that as a goal? Because who needs naysayers? We are enough of a naysayer for ourselves usually. We don't need to tell other people what we are up to. When it comes to our lifelong, long-term legacy goals, those are for us personally and set the direction and the tone for our life. So today, what I want you to think about is, number one, my question is, do you have a framework or a life framework that you use right now to structure your life and your personal development, your personal growth, and becoming a better version of yourself? Yes or no? And then secondly, think about, for our action item today, each of these different areas and aspects and how they might impact you being a better version of yourself. How do you physically want to show up? How do you physically want to interact with other human beings? What kind of energy do you want to have? Mentally, what kind of a mindset do you want to bring to each of the situations that you're involved in? Emotionally, how are we going to, and this is always a biggie for me, how am I going to take a deep breath, reel in my emotions, and take time to react and respond in ways that I choose, not just automatic reactions? Spiritual, financial, relationships, all so interconnected with who we really are. Contribution, how do we show up? How do we interact with the rest of the world? Communication and confidence. Those are pretty self-explanatory. If you need some help with those, hit me up. We're going to break those down, and we will spend 1 month on each of those areas this year. I've done it the last, I think, 3-4 years, and it's worked out really, really well as adding structure to the annual challenge. Being a better you is a pretty subjective thing, right? It's absolutely, totally subjective. But guess what? The only person whose opinion that matters is yours, right? Are you a better version of yourself today than you were yesterday? Then we're succeeding, right? All right. Any questions about this? Any challenges? Any other suggestions? I mean, if you've got a life framework that you've been using for decades or even for a couple of years that's worked really, really well for you, share that in the comments below so we can learn from one another. All right. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.